Next on Grumpy Old Florida Men. Mr. Dudley was a little perturbed at Mr. Mathis, so he walked over to the car he was sitting in and smacked him in the back of the head. This resulted in a battery charge, which we see here with the fabulous Judge Wade Mercer.
Mr. Dudley, number 4 on the docket, which is 23-355 Mr. Dudley is coming up. Mr. Dudley, listen to Mr. McDaniel, and we're going to see where we stand in your case.
Your Honor, I spoke to Mr. Dudley at 23-355 MM. The state's made an offer for him for probation, and we're going to just go ahead and admit that, we're going to go ahead and plead no contest. He's going to admit that he slapped him. He has circumstances that he would like to explain to the court as to why he slapped him. There's various things that I think he just wants to have his say and say stuff and let the court basically decide what to do to him, with the understanding that, there's an offer for probation. But he's hoping maybe he can convince the court that there's circumstances that justify the slap. The victim is here also, so he's going to be able to they just want to have their say so. And
Okay.
I'll give the court a little bit of background. This is an incident where all parties were highly intoxicated. I mean, they were all on it. We watched videos. It's clearly a neighborhood of heavy drinking, and they were all seemed to be intoxicated. Seemed to me when I watched it, they were all intoxicated.
No. Okay. So let's do this. Mr. Dudley, I need to place you under oath and make sure this plea is what you want to enter. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but truth so help you God?
There we go.
Mr. Dudley, you've been accused of one count of battery. If you want to plead no contest to that today, you have the right to. It avoids a trial. If you enter a plea of no contest, you're waiving your right to a trial. You're waiving a right to call witnesses, and you're waiving a right to cross-examine witnesses. None of those things will happen because you're ending the plea. You need to understand the maximum penalty for this case, for that charge, is a year in jail, but the state in this case is asking for probation. Is that right, Ms. Bremer? So if you enter this plea, what you're basically doing is what Mr. McDaniel said. I want to plead, and I want to try to let the judge tell my side. I'm going to hear from the alleged victim if they want to be heard from, and then I'll make a sentencing decision after I hear from everybody. But you need to understand that you're waiving those rights if you enter this plea. Is that what you want to do? Okay, so I need you to sign the waiver of rights form. Put your date of birth on there, Mr. Dudley. So, Mr. McDaniel, I read the complaint. Sort of remember the case. I don't know if I did first appearance or not, but I remember the case. I'm somewhat familiar with Mr. Dudley. I know that he's been in trouble a few times, and every time he's been in trouble, as far as I know, it involved alcohol. Every single time. Mr. Dudley's, my belief, based on him being in court in the past, he's got an alcohol problem. This case here, the complaint says he was severely intoxicated when he was interviewed by law enforcement. He admitted to the battery. But I'm glad to listen to you or Mr. Dudley or any other witnesses you want me to hear from. The victim.
And the victim who he's with, and the wife, everybody was intoxicated.
Okay. All right.
Just everything you want to tell the judge why.
Sure, go ahead, Mr.
Young,
Just everything.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
I appreciate that.
It's a sad situation.
Start with how you involved. Are you neighbors? Are you friends? Are you relatives?
Actually, we will say we grew up together.
Okay.
I've been knowing this man for a long time.
Okay.
If he needed my help, I always there for him. If I needed his help, he there for me.
Okay.
It's a sad situation.
So what happened?
Actually, it's all because he put a gun on me, my little baby, my wife, and my mother-in-law.
At some point prior to this, he pulled a gun.
Yes.
Was alcohol involved in that incident too?
Well, for him, my wife, and little short midget man, Mr. Amp Mathis. Now they was the one that was drinking. I wasn't drinking.
You talking about this day or you talking about other incident?
The other incident.
Okay.
So that's where it began. When he got back to his house, that's when he put the gun.
What's the time frame of that incident compared to this one? Was it weeks or months or day before or same day?
No, with this accident, no.
How long before this did the gun incident happen?
Prob-
This
within 4 months at the most.
Okay, so I'm with you. So there was a prior incident, there was some hard feelings.
Yes, sir. And
Tell me what happened then.
then I came to court not too long ago. They had me for talking about trespassing. That didn't happen. They got thrown out. Right? So my wife had called his friend, Venice Mathis. And Venice said he was gonna go to the store. And said, well, you meet me at the mailbox, okay? Went to the store.
To get what?
Get my wife a bag of ice and I think got her some liquor. Well, when he called, he said, meet me at the mailbox. And I said, well, who is he with? And Venus told my wife that he was with Lamar Livingston. Well, we went on down there to 1208 mailbox. I was standing there. And I gave my word to the judge, the lady judge.
Judge Garcia.
Yes, sir. And I said, well, I ain't gonna do nothing. Well, that afternoon, there he was. I was standing at the mailbox with my baby, and Mr. Cruz pulled up. And I asked him one question, because I'm a truthful man. I asked him, I said, Junior, do you think that you don't owe my little daughter an apology? He was looking around in the seat of his car, and I didn't know what he had. And like I said, I'm an honest man. The only thing I thought about was my little girl lied. And I cold cocked him. And I told him I was there for my daughter. Now, if I was a dirty man, see, I'd probably be in prison. But I didn't do that. You know, I'm sorry for hitting, but I'm so protective about my daughter.
Your daughter's real young, isn't she?
Yes,
How old
sir.
is she?
Oh, she's a year and 8 months.
Okay. So does she know it? Does she even know anything about the gun incident?
Yes, sir.
Because she would have been.
Trust me, she knows what the gun is. Trust me.
Okay.
We be watching cowboy pictures and this and that. She'd be asking me what's all this and all that.
Okay.
But I am sorry. It was off because of my daughter.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Junior. But man, don't be putting no gun in. That's not good.
Okay.
It's not.
Anything
It's
else?
not good. It hurts.
Mr. Dudley,
I was asleep.
anything else you want to tell me, Mr. Dudley? Anything else you want to tell me?
Yes, sir. It hurts, and I don't like it.
Ms. Bremer, any questions for Mr. Dudley?
At this time, Your Honor.
Mr. Van Dam, anything else before we hear from the alleged victim? Ms. Bremer, you want me to hear from you or the alleged victim first?
I'm sorry, Your
You
Honor.
want me to hear from you or the alleged victim?
The alleged victim, please.
And you are Mr. Cruz, correct? Mr. Cruz, let me get you to raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Sir,
Okay, Mr. Cruz, anything you'd like to tell me, I'm glad to listen.
about the accident, what he was talking about me drawing a gun on him. What it was, we had went to Donaldsonville and got some grocery and stuff. On the way back, started teasing a little bit. Then when we got to the house, I got out to go in the house. He got out.
Tell him
What-
what he was teasing you about. What was he teasing you about?
Oh,
I'm his sister, Your Honor.
Okay.
he was teasing me about how he had slapped me before. So it started from there. When I got to the house, I told him, I said, you ain't gonna slap me no more. So when I jumped out the car, he jumped out with 2 knives and wouldn't let me go in the house.
Is his daughter present?
Ma'am, let him go through this, please.
Or
Come on.
his daughter,
Camera is short.
Well, it's okay. I want to hear it from him, though. I don't want to hear, I'll gladly hear from you after I hear from him. So go ahead, Mr. Cruz.
so I got out the car to go in the house. He jumped out the car, in my car, with 2 knives in his hand. Say, I'm not gonna let you in. I said, yeah, I'm going in my house. So when I went in the house, I thought about it. I grabbed my pellet gun. It was a pellet gun with no pellets in it because the shad came right there right after there. And picked the gun, him and my son. So the baby was in the car. The baby don't even know nothing about no gun. Baby was too young. Matter of fact, she probably didn't even see the pellet gun. So he jumped back in the car. Then when I put the gun down, he jumped back out and started again. And I asked him to leave out my yard.
How close do you live to each other?
Over half a mile.
In the same community?
Well, yeah.
Down around Shady Grove? Where do y'all live at?
Oh, Sinai.
You live in the Sinai community, which is just in the close to Shady Grove.
Right.
Okay. What about the second incident?
Okay.
Do you agree with his version of the second incident?
The second accident, anyway, I went over there and picked up the one he said, Vinny, from his house across the branch. Vinny asked me about going to the store, but I didn't know Vinny had to go up to his house to get, he told me he was going up there to get a food stamp card from them, right? So I pulled down to the bottom of the hill from his house. I wouldn't go up to his house. I turned around. Vinny walked up there and got that card or whatever, the money. I sat down to the mailbox where Vinny's mailbox at. That about eighth of a mile. So when Vinny come back, me and him went to the store and got what they wanted. So we come back. I turned off to go to Vinny's house by the mailbox. He done walked down there with his family. He walked past me and come back on the side of my car. I'm gonna teach you about drawing a gun on somebody and slap me again. I'm sitting in the car. Wasn't bothering nobody. I hadn't even said anything to him. Then a couple weeks ago, I was in the grocery store getting some items. Still him going to pass to the other cashier. He come directly over there where I was to the cashier, where he holding a conversation with the cashier when he wasn't supposed to be that close to me. And I'm afraid something gonna bad happen. He keep on hitting me. That's the third time.
Okay.
And I can't stand it no more.
When the incident happened at the grocery store, did you contact law enforcement?
When those time called, by time police got there, he was gone.
Okay. That didn't answer my question at all. Did you contact law enforcement?
No.
Did you know most grocery stores have video cameras? And had you contacted them, there'd probably be a video of him coming over there standing next to you. And had I been made aware of that, I would have signed a no bond warrant for his arrest for violating my court order of no contact.
Right.
But I can't do it if you don't do your part.
Right.
Okay. So who all was drinking the second time? Were you drinking?
I had a drink earlier, but I wasn't drunk.
Was Ventus drinking? Or did you know?
Yeah, he was.
What about Mr. Dudley? You know if he was drinking?
Yeah, I believe he was.
All right. Anything else you want to tell me, sir?
Well, I just don't trust it no more.
Okay. You just want to be left alone. You go your way, he go his
Yeah,
way.
that's right. If it didn't take jail time for him, I want that too.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Bremer, any questions? Anything else you want to ask of this witness?
Mr. Cruz, are you concerned for your safety in the future with Mr. Dudley?
If he keeps slapping me, yes.
Anything else?
No.
Mr. McDaniel? Anything for Mr. Cruz? Wait, for Mr. Cruz. Any questions for Mr. Cruz? Okay.
Mr. Cruz, I watched the video. Y'all were all highly intoxicated. Everyone seemed to minimize and say, yeah, I may have had a drink. Y'all were all driver, everybody was highly intoxicated. I mean, let's be honest about this, okay, sir? I mean,
Is that a question you're asking? You agree with that statement that Mr. He made?
No, I ain't gonna agree. I wasn't drunk. No,
Okay.
I was not drunk.
Ma'am, do you want anything?
Yes,
Okay.
please, Your
Let me, I got to place you under oath. Let me get your name, ma'am.
I'm Eloise James.
Ms. James, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this case to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but truth to help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. James, tell me what you know about it, please.
Your Honor, I would just like to simply say I was not present at any of these incidents. I'm only hearing what is after looking at my brother's situation and when he comes to my house, almost in tears based on the incident that this man keeps slapping him. Now, Isaiah knows that my brother is sick. He's 73 years old in November. If he was the man he used to be, Isaiah would not be putting his hands on him, period. But Isaiah has a habit of getting drunk and taking advantage of the elderly and the sickly and those that cannot fight him back. He has a history of violence and he's constantly fighting. He says that he's so worried about a gun being pulled in front of his child. But I'm sure you have before you domestic violence, where he's a violent person toward his wife in the presence of his child. So he's hollering about what an honest man he is. That is very far from the truth. My concern is, and the entire Sinai community concern is that something has to be done with this man. Because the whole community, every community he's lived in, he was out in Bluntstown. They threw him out from down there. The people got sick of him. He went to St. Rose. The community down there got sick of him. Then he winded up with us in Sinai. Now the Sinai community is sick of him. And I personally am sick of him putting his hands on my brother.
You live in that community, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, yes, sir. I'm sorry. Your
Okay.
But I've worked with corrections for 36 years on the correction side. I've retired from that. And I am sick and tired of this man harassing my brother.
I mean,
Any chance he does, excuse me.
it's okay. It's okay. I'm just trying to,
Does not have any respect for the court, you all, any of you.
let me ask this question. The times I've seen him in court, many times, have always been alcohol related. The problems that you talk about, are they related to alcohol?
Most of them, yes,
Okay.
that I know of.
Right. Anything else you think we need to know?
Yes, as you could see when he came in the courtroom, he could have sat anywhere. But where does he sit? Directly across from my brother. Directly across from him.
Where do you think he should have said at?
He could have came up here to get away from him.
Okay.
But this is the point that I'm trying to make. Wherever he sees my brother, he's going to go there. He's going to get as close to him as he possibly can. And in my opinion, that's a source of intimidation.
Do you understand the problem though when your brother doesn't contact law enforcement like
Yes.
the church is doing?
And did he do that? And he said, no, I didn't.
Because he would be in jail now.
Yeah.
We
And that's exactly what I told him. You should have called.
yeah.
You should have called.
Okay. What grocery store was that?
That's Mac Daniel's grocery store.
How long ago was it?
Piggly Wiggly.
How long ago was it?
Before I went in the hospital.
About a week.
About
Just-
about
It was longer than that?
about two,
2 weeks?
3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, because you was in the hospital a week. So
Ms.
it was
Bremer,
before
any
that.
questions for Ms. James?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. McDaniel for Ms. James? Thank you for coming, Ms. James. Thank you for speaking. Ms. Bremer, anything from the state?
Your Honor, based on the information that we've heard today, the testimony from the defendant and from the victim, this is clearly a volatile situation and tensions are high between the parties. The state did make a probation offer for Mr. Dudley. Based on the information we heard today, I believe Mr. Dudley is trying to argue that he was upset because a gun was pulled on him, whether it was a pellet gun or another gun. The information we've heard today makes it sound like it was pulled as a self-defense measure to enable him to enter his residence. Mr. Cruz is within his rights to do that. So it does not explain away or excuse his decision, Mr. Dudley's decision to slap his man. And so the state would ask that whatever the court decides to do today, that there would be no contact with Mr. Cruz permitted, and that it would address the issue with alcohol or drugs without prescription.
I know that you weren't with the state attorney's office at the time this complaint was filed. A battery on a person over 65 years of age is a felony. Do you have any idea why the deputy or the state attorney's office didn't file this as a felony
I-
with the evidence they had?
I do not, Your Honor.
Hang on just a second. I'm going to give you a chance. Yes, ma'am.
I even called elderly abuse, and they have it on record,
Okay.
where I called elderly abuse to try to file a claim to see what I could do to intervene as his sister to stop him from knocking on my brother, hitting him, slapping him without a just cause. Elderly abuse advised me that because he was not a caretaker or living in the home with him, that there was nothing that they could do, that it would be a law enforcement situation.
Okay.
But that's how serious I took it when he came to me, because he's too old for him to be beaten on. You see his health condition. He's just now getting over a bout in the hospital from pneumonia. He just got out of the hospital Thursday of last week with pneumonia. He's on oxygen. He can hardly walk a few feet without having to sit down on this thing and rest. He cannot deal with him. He can't. It would be something else if he could defend himself, Your Honor, but he can't anymore.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Dudley, anything else you want to say?
Yeah. I don't see how he can sit there and say that. Whenever he used to come to my house almost every day to play dominoes with my wife while I watched the child. But it's there, you know? For us hitting on him, no. 99% of the time, I'm home. If I'm not home, I'm trying to make me some money. If I don't make no money, I'm fishing. That's all I does.
Okay.
If anybody need my help, I help them.
All right. Okay, Mr. Dudley, what I'm going to do in
That's
case
it.
23-355 MM, I'm going to accept your plea of no contest. Actually, I've already accepted your plea of no contest. I'm going to withhold adjudication of guilt. I'm going to place you on probation for 11 months and 29 days, standard probation. You're going to have a condition that you have, everybody has a condition, no alcohol, and I'm talking more about that in just a second. Court costs and fines for a battery charge are set by state and county law, not by the judge. They are $722 court costs and fines and no contact with Mr. Cruz at all. I don't know. I'm going to also impose a condition that he successfully complete alcohol counseling, some kind of alcohol abuse counseling like AA. Mr. Dudley, here's the problem. There's about zero chance of you completing probation unless you stop drinking. If you don't stop drinking, you're going to be back before me in a matter of days or weeks at the most for getting caught drinking, and I'm going to put you in jail for up to a year. You've got to stop drinking now that you're on probation. You don't have a choice. The second thing you've got to do is have no contact with Mr. Cruz at all. If you see him somewhere, you can't talk to him. You can't come within 500 feet of him. Now, if you're on the road passing each other, you can't help that. But if you're in a grocery store and you see him, you need to go to the other side of the store away from where he's at. He's the alleged victim.
That's what I've been doing.
Okay. If you have contact with him, or if I find out you're drinking, then I don't have a choice but put you in jail. So you're going to get a shot at probation. Hopefully you'll make it. But I'm being as honest with you as I can. I don't think you can make it unless you quit drinking. And I don't know that you'll quit drinking. I don't know that you will quit. So, ma'am and sir, if you find out he's drinking, you need to contact law enforcement or contact his probation officer. Mr. Goodson will give you a card, business card. He'll give you a business card. Will it be your case or Mr. Ham's? We'll give you Mr. Ham's business card. If you have any contact with him, you need to contact law enforcement and the probation officer, Mr. Cruz. But especially if it's somewhere like a grocery store where there's cameras, or if there's a witness with you that says that he come up and talk to you, he shot you a bird, he drove by your house slow and was yelling at you out the window. I don't care. Whatever it is, if he has contact with you and you know about it, because if we don't stop it now, one thing that hasn't been mentioned is what happens next. Do you finally, do you do something that you shouldn't be doing because you just had your belly full of it?
Exactly.
But then you're the one that's in trouble. So contact law enforcement if you have any problems. Mr. Goodson, I need to keep a closer watch on Mr. Dudley. I need y'all to keep a closer watch on Mr. Dudley than we normally do, because he's been drinking for, 30 years, Mr. Dudley, 40 years. And it's going to be hard for him to quit drinking. But if he can make probation. I have no doubt in that. I don't know that I have doubts that he will quit drinking, though.
Does that order include phone calls?
Yeah, he can have no contact No contact at all. No texting, no voice message, no carrier pigeons. I don't care. No contact
Thank
at
you.
all.
Thank you.
But I can't do anything about it if Mr. Cruz won't contact authorities if and when it
I
happens.
will.
Okay. Mr. Cruz, I probably would be remiss if I didn't say there's alcohol involved on both sides, at least in this incident. You need to realize that too.
I can't drink.
Oh, you can't drink anymore because of your health? So that's changed since May?
Yes.
Really? Okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but maybe that's a good thing. Okay. It's a good thing.
Good thing.
Mr. Cruz, Ms. James, do y'all have any questions? Mr. Dudley, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Mr. McDaniel, Ms. Bremer, anything else?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Mr. Dudley, see Mr. Goodson with the probation office. I wish you the best, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. McDaniel, that was everything I had on my docket, but while you're here, let's take a look at our trial docket and see what we've got left for next week.